That's all you need, isn't it? The internet not to work when you want it to work. Bear with me, people. Okay. Can't see my comments. Today has just been one of those days that just obviously isn't going to go right. Don't want that on. Want more comments on, please. Haha. Sorry about that, people. Hi Natasha, Tina, Jane, Diana. It's just been one of those days where nothing's gone right, and you're actually lucky I'm here, to be fair. But hey ho, I'm here. Oh, horrible weather. Got soaked twice today, but it was worth it because I got to see my grandkids. Yay! Hope everybody can hear me okay. Can you just let me know, one of you, please? And then I'll get stuck in. Look at you, Crafty Becky. I wish it was nice here. It's dark, grey, dismal, windy, cold. Thank you, Jane. Right, I'm going to get stuck in because there's quite a bit to do, although it doesn't look as though there's quite a bit to do. So I said I was going to do some kissing today. No, my husband is not in my craft room with me. I'm going to do some kiss stamping. Dead simple, but it's a way of filling in a stamp that's got no detail on it, so like a block stamp. I know this has got petal detail on it, but if you've got a block stamp that's completely black that is just going to stamp in a solid colour, but you want to give it a little bit of interest, then you can do some kiss stamping. But before we get on to that, I'm going to start with the basic card and then we'll come to that in a second. So this is the card that I'm doing today. It's quite simple, just a few colours, and obviously it features the fabulous brand new background tartan stamp. I love this. I don't know whether anybody else thinks this, but when I was a kid, my mum and dad had one of those plastic covers for the table, and it was always red and white, and as soon as I saw this, that was the first thing I thought about. But mine's not going to be red and white anyway, so let's get cracking. So I've got a 17 by 17 centimetre card blank, and my piece of card that's going to go on the top is 16 by 9 centimetres because I only want it to fill half of the card. So I'm going to do this piece first because I want this to be completely dry so that I don't mess it up. She said, fingers crossed, she'll probably mess it up anyway, but never mind. So I'm not going to do one colour on here, I'm going to do two colours because I just thought, well, why can't you do two colours? It's easy, isn't it? And it just adds a little bit of interest and just, I don't know, just fancied using two different colours, so that's what I'm doing. I'm using Adirondack ink pads. I was going to use my oxides, but to be honest, they didn't really give me the coverage that I wanted on the stamp, so I changed my mind and I went with the Adirondacks. So I think that's pretty much all covered, and then I'm just going to place that down on my card. I don't know how I've put the lid on my card, and it is just about the width of the card. So place that down, and you can usually see where your ink has taken because of the way it pulls on the back. But if you want to make absolutely certain, if you're lucky enough, your card shouldn't move when you pick the stamp up. So then I would just rub the back of the card just to make sure that you get a really good imprint. Oh, green one, Jane. I was always red and white. Don't know why it sticks in my mind. I hated it. But anyway, so just peel that off. And then because I've missed the bottom bit off, because obviously my card piece is longer than my stamp, I'm just going to re-ink the top piece of my stamp. And because it's a reasonable pattern, it is quite easy to match it up. So I'm going to go, hopefully, and I don't even mind if it overlaps a wee bit. Doesn't really matter that much, as long as you've got your piece of card covered. That's all that matters, really. Okay, it's a little bit of a gap there, but I'm not bothered about that. So then, because I don't want to contaminate my yellow ink pad, just clean that off. These stamps are such fabulous quality, and I hope if you were lucky enough and you managed to get them, I think you're going to be using these quite a lot. So now I want to fill in all the white bits with my yellow ink pad, and again this is an Adirondack. The green was called Lettuce, and this is Butterscotch. Yeah, Butterscotch. They're really quite juicy pads. I've had these pads for years, and I mean literally years. I used to go to the craft shows in Birmingham. That's where I picked these up from, or some of them, and they just, I don't know, they just seem to go on forever and ever and ever. They're just really good, nice stamp pads to use. So now we're going to go into the white areas with the stamp again, so that I'm filling in all the white bits on the stamp, on the piece of paper. Lift it up, turn it over. See, Jane's still clean. Can't bear getting it dirty. See how that's filled in the white bits? See, I did it better yesterday because I wasn't rushed, you see. Today I'm a bit all over the place. A bit rushed. Don't know why. So I just fill that last little bit in. I might just go over that bit again. Obviously, with this stamps being see-through and it's on a see-through block, it's really quite easy to line it up. Okay, and that looks quite nice, and that looks like a nice picnic rug. Just wipe that off, give that a good clean later. Put this to one side. Obviously the background stamps came as a set of two, and the other one was the music stamp. Fabulous stamps, I can see so many uses for that. So now with this, because I want it to stand proud sort of thing on my card base. I'm just going to run all the way around that with a black marker. This is one of my Copics, but it's because I need a new Sharpie pen. It just gets rid of the white core, can't see any white edges, which is what I like. So just put that to one side for a second. So then I'm going to concentrate on the card base. Now I wanted a muted colour on the card base. As you can see on the original, I've gone with a green, and I decided to use the oxides on the base because the coverage is quite a lot better. Haven't missed that much, Elizabeth. Just my background piece to go on the top of my card when I've done the base of the card. So I'm just going to go over this with my oxide, and as I said, because the coverage is smoother, it really doesn't take that long. And you don't have to be particularly precise. I'm not going to fill this bit because that's going to be covered by that bit. Why, is it Heidi being naughty again? I missed who it was being naughty. I bet it's Heidi though, isn't it? It's always Heidi. You can see these oxides really do brush on quite easily for a really nice coverage. Well, it depends how many Lisa Horton stamps you buy, Heidi, as to whether it's good behaviour or not. It's a better sort of behaviour, I agree. And I just want to cover this last little bit here, because when this bit's here you won't see any of this. So I just want to make sure that I've covered all the little bits that I want covered up. That'll do, I think. Just clean that off because I don't want it on the back of my card. Okay, so now I want to add a little bit of interest onto the background because, you know, that looks okay, but it's a bit plain, isn't it? And I don't really do plain. So I'm just going to do the background, and what I'm going to do is I'm using the same ink colour, but I'm using just an ordinary distress ink as opposed to an oxide ink. Because the distress ink will give a brighter colour, it's going to stand out against the oxide. That's the plan. So better just clean that off because I'm not sure what colour's on there. Right, so all I'm going to do is random across the back of the card. See, and it's not too bright, but it's just bright enough that it sort of sits above the background colour, if you know what I mean. It's there, but it's not there, which is what I like. Not sure whether you can see that. If I bring that up a little bit, does it bring it out of focus or can you see it? I quite like that effect because it's subtle, but it just gives a little extra something to the card base. So I'm just doing that all around the piece that you're going to see next to my picnic blanket. Hi Miriam. Every time I look up to the comments I can't see a thing because my hair's that long now. I look like a old English sheepdog with a fringe. It's ridiculous. Can't see a thing. And then that last little bit be round the edge, dead quick, dead easy. Okay, I quite like that, but it just looks a little bit neat and tidy. I don't really do neat and tidy. Anybody tell you that? My husband will tell you that. So I'm going to use my favourite splat stamp from the Textures background set, which, as I've said to you before, is never very far from my desk. And I'm just going to randomly, really randomly add that to the text, just to give it a, I just think it makes it look a bit vintagey without being vintage colours, if you know what I mean, because I always think of vintage as brown. Is that my nails, Elizabeth? Well, I thought Lisa's looked so nice on the TV the other day, I thought I'm going to have a go at that. So I was actually quite pleased with how they turned out, but hey ho. So there you go, there's my background done for that card. And then I'm just going to add this down here now, so that when I come back to use the card, this is stuck down and I know it won't move. So just stick that down like that. I always do it by eye. It doesn't matter if it's not straight. I don't think it does. It's handmade. That's the beauty of handmade, isn't it? Okay, so that's the basis of my card. So now all I'm going to do is the extra little bits. So, kiss stamping. Do we all know what it is? I'm sure you probably do. I'm probably preaching to the converted. But as I said before, it's a way of giving a bold stamp that would just stamp in one colour a little bit of interest on the image that you end up with. Now obviously I've used the script stamp on here, and I've already cut out today's flowers, and I've used my distress ink in Shabby Shutters so that it fits in with everything else. But I thought, I wonder what difference it would make if I used a black ink or a green ink. So on this one I used Shabby Shutters, and I used the Lettuce Earth Tones ink pad to do the script. And on the other two I used the Shabby Shutters and the VersaFine Clair Black, so that the script stood out a little bit more. I'm just going to show you how I did those, because it's dead quick and easy. You can do it on any colour card. Obviously the darker the card, the harder it gets, because obviously then you've got to use something like a picket fence or a white chalk based ink pad that's going to give you a white base. But for now I'm going to use my Daisy Burst stamp. The other one's got polka dots on, which is why I've gone with this one. Now what you want to do is inky bold stamp up, and then ink up the stamp that you're going to take that you're going to kiss it with. Take your bold stamp and just lay it on top of the other stamp. You don't need to press down hard on it. Don't be thinking you need to press really hard, because all you'll do is moving. No, Jane, although I've been known to do that. All you need to do is just get the impression of the stamp underneath onto the stamp that's on here. So if I lift that off, you can see that the script has transferred onto that stamp. You don't have to use the script stamp. You see? It doesn't show up very well on the yellow, because obviously this Shabby Shutters is quite a pale colour. But if I used, and the other thing I would say is, if you're going to use a black as your kiss colour, clean it off every time, because obviously you're going to end up with a double imprint if you don't clean it off. So what I'm going to do on this next one is I'm going to use one of the mandala stamps. This is from the Stay Strong set, and I'm just going to ink. This probably won't do it very well because it's on. If I take it off there, put it on my mat there. I think I need a bigger desk. So if I ink that off, so it's got the pattern showing, then I can choose exactly where I want to go on that stamp when I use my flower. I'm going to use the Adirondack green because it's a little bit darker, so that it will show up on this yellow card. Stamp it in my green, and then I'm just going to go into the middle of here, lay it down, leave it for a couple of seconds, lift it up, patterns on there, stamp it onto there. You see there's a pattern on there, but you can't distinguish what the pattern is. It just gives that bold stamp a little bit of interest without it being in your face or too particular. So every one is going to look a little bit different depending on where on that stamp you take your kiss from. So I just thought it was a different way of adding a little bit of interest to your bold stamps. There are a lot of solid stamps out there that just stamp in one colour, so I think that's a clever way of just making them look a little bit different from the norm. So that's your kissing technique. That's where my kissing came in. I told my husband I was doing kissing in my live today. He was quite excited. Oh, miserable again now, never mind. So back to the card. So now I'm going to add all my embellishments onto my card base. Now, as I said, I've already done all my cutting because you don't want to sit and listen to my machine, lost my flags, cutting out my die cuts. I'm using Lisa's nested flags, which I know, I'm sorry, are still out of stock, I think, at the moment. But fingers crossed, they will be back soon. I said that dead quiet so as I don't scare them off. So because I want this to blend in with the background, on my original I used both sides of the yellow dotty paper. These gorgeous, gorgeous new dotty papers. Are they not amazing? Sorry. Obviously there's Christmas colours as well, but for my card today I wanted to use the pastel colours, and I've got to be honest, I know Lisa's using pink and brown for her Christmas colours this year. What a gorgeous combination. You can use these anytime. I can see me using these a lot. I often think perhaps I should buy 2 packs, one to stroke and look at every day, and one to use because they just don't last very long. Anyway, get on with it, Dawn. So because I want this to tie in with this, all I'm going to do is just add a little bit of the splat stamp onto this yellow flag. The yellow flag is the smaller one, and it's going to go on top of the bigger one. Just a mat and layer it. You see it's dead random, it's not covering the whole of the stamp, which I didn't want it to do, so that's fine. Please can I flick through the dotty papers? Which ones? The pastel ones? I can. I'm not doing the Christmas ones because I'm not using them today, but yes. The dotty papers are the most beautiful colours. So on one side you've got the small dots, and there's pink, green, brown, sort of like a very pale burgundy, the lemon and the blue. And then when you turn them over, you've got big dots in all the same colours. And I just think they're awesome. They're just, well, words fail me. I'm not going to get quite as excited as Heidi does, but they are beautiful papers. Right, so now I've got my flags cut and stamped how I want them. I'm just going to glue those two together. Dawn is having an affair with the paper packs. Don't think I'd go quite that far, Heidi. I don't know what you mean. I would if I got two, because then I could have an affair with one and use the other. Thanks for that link, Natasha. Now, I cut this out because when I put the card together yesterday, I hadn't got this. And I thought, I don't know, it just lacks a bit of something. So I thought, why no? I'll use the in the loop die set. So I cut it out, and I cut it out in the same colour paper as I'd used for the flags. And whilst I like it, I just thought, don't know, I don't think it stands out enough, so I've gone with a different colour today. And obviously, the colour choices are totally up to you. Now, how do you glue it down? The in the loop die set, not sure if it's in stock at the moment. Might be, can't remember now. So how I glue it is just add a little bit of glue. This is my sticky sponge that I used for my stencil glue in my live the other week. And I'm just dotting that glue around. And then all I'm going to do is just press that down into the glue just to cover the back. Because the last thing you want to do is add loads of glue onto your die and end up with it all squeezing out onto your backing. So this worked yesterday, so I'm hoping that it works today. So I want it just as near to the edge as I can. Without going over the edge, and it fits perfectly on this size of paper. So it's obviously 16 centimetres long. And all these little pieces, keep them because they'll come in useful if you're doing like a mixed media project. I never throw anything like this away because you just never know when they might come in handy. So there we go. So I'm going to use for my sentiment one of the bold words, which I've cut out somewhere, and now I can't find it. Oh, there it is. So that's going to go there, and I'm going to place that on first because then that'll tell me where I can put my flowers. Fabulous set of stamps, these bold words. I just think they just stand out so beautifully. Easy to cut out as well. Obviously not as easy as those of us with scan and cuts. Some of us still have to go old-fashioned and use scissors. So I put that there, and then underneath here I want to use one of the straight words that come in the same set as the bold stamps, so that my card says, like the original, Hello Sunshine, because I just think these colours are reminiscent of sunshine, and let's face it, could all do with a bit of sunshine at the moment. So I'm just going to place that down there so that that's going to sit underneath my flag, and then I know where to put my flag down. So now I can glue my flag into place. They are gorgeous, these dies, so when they do come back in stock, I'd be dead quick and get them while you can, because they will be very, very popular. They were when we bought them out, and I know they're going to remain popular as well. So now all I've got left to do is add my flowers. Now, because I've got two different ones, one with the black ink and one with the green ink, I'm going to put the green one in the middle so that the black ones can go either side, and it just gives it a little bit of just something a little bit different. So I just place those so that you can still see the sentiment. I'm not going to use that, I'm going to use my 3D glue just to make them stand up a tiny bit. It just gives the card just a little bit of height, a little bit of dimension. Place that one there. And I always do my flowers in sets of 3. I think Lisa Robson's mentioned this before. Florists will always tell you to put flowers in groups of 3. I don't know why, it must be something to do with the aesthetics of the flowers, I don't know. But they are right, it does always look nice. Now you know me, I'm a Lisa's Pearl girl. I love Lisa's pearls. So I'm just going to add, as my finishing touch, a little pearl in the centre of those flowers. And then just 2 down here, just to give it a little bit of balance. These colours are from the second set, I think. Just gorgeous. I just love the way these shine. These AB pearls, they're just beautiful. And there's some gorgeous colours. I have believed that the first set will be making a reappearance on Create and Craft at some point in the very near future. So there you go. That's my Hello Sunshine kiss stamped card finished. That's the original. And there's the one I've done today. And I just think that kiss stamping just gives that extra little bit of interest without going too over the top. 3D always looks nice, doesn't it, Heidi? And yeah, the pearls, Natasha, I just think they finish the card off so beautifully, without any effort at all, to be honest. Don't know if I missed any questions. Thank you very much for putting all the links in, Natasha. Very grateful. Crafty kisses. The kiss stamping is just so easy. Just dead quick, dead simple. But like I said, when you put your bold stamp onto your stamp that you're kissing from, just remember to just lay it down very gently, because if you try and lay it down too hard, you will slip, because obviously it's stamp on stamp and they will move. So just be a little bit careful. I'd practice a couple of times first, like I did earlier on, and I practiced, and then I stamped that one and I thought, well, that's a bit pale. Oh, that's because I forgot to kiss this. So it's a good job I practiced. But again, that was the lettuce Adirondack stamp with a black ink on it. And I think it's quite nice. And you don't have to fill the stamp, it's just a little bit of, tiny little bit of interest. So that's my card for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find time to enter the challenge this month. There is going to be a few changes coming up to challenges, etc. So keep your eyes peeled for those. Challenge goes on to the end of the month, which is a week on Tuesday, I believe. And then Claire will pick a winner. And obviously you all know that Claire's lives are going to form the majority of the prize for this month's challenge. But as I say, things are going to be changing a little bit, so keep your eyes peeled on that. So I think that's it for me today. Thank you very much for joining me. Please come and join Evelina, I think tomorrow at 12, who is going to be doing something based on what you've actually all chosen for her to do. Not quite sure what it is yet, but I'm sure it will be amazing, because Evelina's lives always are. And then you've got Jane with you on Sunday at 2, and then Claire next Tuesday doing her live. Not Clive, Claire. So there you go, my kiss stamping card to bring a little bit of sunshine. So I love you and I leave you. Have a nice weekend. Hope to see you join us on Saturday and Sunday. Take care, everybody. Bye.